Is that just what happens when you have a guitar in the room? Anyways. Hello, it's me, Stuffed Crust Pizza, and today we're going to be talking about the most chronically online takes that I've seen on the internet. My co-producer slash husband wants me to call this the chronicles of the most chronically online takes that I find on the internet, so that's what I'm going to call it. I was going to start this video off by listing all my intersections of my identity like I did the last video. So if you haven't watched that and you wanted to get the lowdown, go and watch it first before you watch this one. But my co-producer, aka husband, said that it wasn't as funny as I thought it was, so I'm not gonna do that. But I do want to say this. Hi, I'm Steph. Some people call me Effie. I have to recognize my privilege of being thick, juicy, and pretty. This is just me recognizing it. Thank you for your comments and enjoyment of my last video. It's been a while since my videos have gotten hundreds of views, and by hundreds I mean 3. So I'm very happy. I really do like making videos like this, and I haven't just collected a whole bunch of chronically online takes that I've found. I do have a praise kink, so I'm very pleased. What bugged me with the last video, this is my own personal critique, is that I kept looking at my script. So if you haven't noticed, I think nobody gives a fuck except for me, but I am now recording in my office space instead of my bedroom desk. Anyways, welcome to the second installment of the chronicles of the most chronically online takes that I find on the internet. I'm going to be talking about 3 of those today. 2 of these are stuff that I found on Twitter, and one of them is something that I found on TikTok. Twitter is a hellscape, so I'm very excited to dive in. So let's begin! Quickly wanted to have a refresher on what I mean by chronically online before I start this video. Shout out to one of my best friends, Savvy, for pointing this out. Some right-leaning or conservative people are using this term to poke fun of disabled folks who have a hard time actually going outside, so they have to spend most of their time online. When I say chronically online, I mean it by its definition from Urban Dictionary that I mentioned in my first video. Chronically online is a term used for an extremely sensitive and a selfish individual who has become so engulfed in both cancel culture and the internet that they have become completely out of touch with real life. Alright. This one's called Mitski Discourse. Instead of looking down, I'm looking to the side because my script is right here, which is a lot more convenient. Mitski, she's a Japanese-American singer-songwriter. She recently came back from doing, from being on a hiatus. Many of her songs resonate really well with other mixed Asian folks, especially me. She posted this tweet basically saying, yeah, you can film or take pics during the concert, but please, maybe don't use flash, and some of the replies were just fucking wild. Alright, first of all, stop calling people that you don't know bestie. I don't know if this is a Gen Z thing. It probably is a millennial thing too, because I've seen you guys, I've seen my people say bestie too. What are you trying to do? You're not 15. And also you don't know Mitski. Stop it. It's weird. And then one person, Michelle, she says, bestie, that's great and all, but some of us have mental health issues that cause dissociation, and I filmed to remember the moment. I'm not looking at my phone the entire time to press record. As someone with really poor memory, taking videos at concerts is what helps me keep that memory alive. Without it, I am very much likely to forget the whole experience. Not to say that I filmed the entire songs, but even if I did, it wouldn't take away from the experience I'm having. Wow. This is a take that makes me incredibly sad. As you're an artist, my heart connects with a lot, Mitski. You're a famous artist that plays shows all the time. Tons of people at your shows see shows not even once per year. Let them keep the memory of their fave song. I roll. People are paying you, so I don't think you get to tell them how to enjoy their experience. It's great that you feel that way, but you've got to realize a lot of people's best experience includes their phones, especially people with ADHD who might not remember otherwise. All right. I'm going to talk about the I film to remember because mental illness makes me forget. And the I dissociate so I have to film. And the we're paying you, let us have whatever we want points first because I dissociate. I haven't dissociated in a few years. But I also have ADHD. So I'm going to talk about this in general. And I'm somebody that does go to concerts, or I mean, I did before the whole Panini, but I'm excited to finally go back to concerts again. Also, I'm not about to say that these people do not have mental illness because I have no idea if they do or not. They most likely do, but I'm also gonna say this, get a fucking grip. Stands are super fucking entitled. People saying we're paying to see your shows. You are so entitled, dude. Like, you're paying to see your shows. Does this mean that she doesn't deserve any boundaries? Like, wow, so you're gonna pay to see her perform and all of a sudden she should put her comfort aside just for you specifically so you can be on your little phone. And, like, she didn't even say, like, you can't record. She just said don't use Flash. So you're just gonna be, like, on your phone. Mitski! Woo! How entitled do you have to be in order to say that? Like, how entitled do you have to be? Like, well, I'm paying money, so I get to cross your boundaries. Sorry, bestie? Bestie, I'm paying money, so this means I get to make you uncomfortable and make everybody around me annoyed because I have mental illness. Fuck you. Mitski or her PR team, whoever, like, wrote this tweet, saying, don't use Flash isn't oppressing you. Sorry, bestie, it's not. You can still film, just maybe don't be annoying. I'm gonna talk about the dissociation point because I dissociate sometimes, like, well, I've gotten a bit of, like, better coping mechanism and I'm, like, in a much better place, so it, like, hardly ever happens. But when I was in the peak of my mental illness, it would happen, like, at least once a week, which is really troubling. So many people don't know what can trigger themselves until it's, like, too late. I went to the mall once, started dissociating, and couldn't do anything for a while. It was really embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. If I could just not do it, I would just not do it. I also didn't know that something at the mall would make me dissociate because the subject of what triggers me and causes me to dissociate isn't usually at the mall. So if loud music or crowded situations make you all of a sudden forget stuff and, like, trigger you so badly that you dissociate, maybe a live concert isn't for you. If you forget so easily at a concert, maybe you should figure out what the root of that is, because that sounds pretty fucking alarming. I'm somebody who's literally always on my phone. I use it for my job and everything else. I use it for talking to everybody, blah, 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 blah. But if I went to a Carly Rae Jepsen concert, which I've been to 3 times, Miss Carly Rae Jepsen says, hey, please don't use Flash at my concert. I'd be like, absolutely, will not, whatever you want. Like, because I respect her. I respect women, so these stans are making everything about themselves because they aren't oppressed and feel attacked when mixed race kids say not to use Flash. Sorry, I'm gonna Uno reverse this on you and make it that saying that you need to use Flash is a hate crime towards mixed kids. Mitski ended up deleting this whole tweet because, like, people were being this annoying that she ended up deleting the tweet. And I bet you anything, when she has her concert, which is actively happening right now, and I saw this TikTok of somebody saying, I will fight fans for not respecting Mitski's boundaries. Absolutely. I would too if she was playing a concert in Vancouver, but she's not. Yeah, she ended up deleting the tweet, which is like, wow, you guys are that annoying? That sucks. This filming setup, you can't see my shirt, but it's very cool. So, I just wanted y'all to see it. Anyways, okay. All right. So, there's this guy from my city who makes dumplings. He's really good at making dumplings. Made a whole one-man business out of it. Good for him. I found out about him because I love his fiance, Lauren. And then I realized Matt, her fiance, is super cool. So I followed him as well. So, as I said earlier, Matt makes dumplings. They're pretty freaking good, even though he only has one vegan flavor. I hope he does make more vegan options. That way more people, including myself, can eat more of his dumplings. So good, in fact, that he calls himself the Dumpling King. Everybody's just like, yeah, obviously, duh, he's the Dumpling King. One day, he received this comment on his TikTok. So I'm gonna show the whole TikTok for concept? So I'm gonna show the whole TikTok for context, and then we'll talk about it.
Yes, hello, hi. So this is an article I've written for Vice addressing such claims like this online without any research about who I am or my qualifications or my right to cook Chinese food. There's lots of articles I've written in the past for various publications, including Vice, as well as the Globe and Mail and smaller local ones. So yeah, feel free to read it and do some research. And my second question is, what else did you do today?
Matt is a mixed race Asian man. I highly recommend you read the article where he wrote about cultural appropriation and being mixed. I personally don't know where white folks get the audacity to say shit like this. Just kidding, please don't hate crime me. I'm gonna touch on something that Chris, my husband slash co-producer slash token white man in the family, said earlier about whiteness and revenge. Some white people like to nitpick everything because they want revenge. They might have been called racist one time from like some anime profile pic Twitter. Now all of a sudden they just like want to one up everybody, especially like people of color, of course, to try to be the best ally ever. So I feel like that this person who made this comment, this cultural appropriation comment, is that type of person. Like, they got called racist before in the past, and now they're trying to one-up everybody and be like, see, I'm not racist because I'm calling out cultural appropriation, even though this is part of Matt's culture. It's not a gotcha that they think it is. It's like really pathetic and embarrassing because they genuinely don't know like what they're talking about. As with like my previous video on Chronically Online, most of the stuff that I talked about, I have personal experience with it, including this particular TikTok. I'm also a mixed race Asian person, just like Matt. I'm white and Filipino, and probably, honestly, a bunch of other things because of colonization. Most people just call me a mongrel. Most people don't actually know what I am. That allows me to get away with a bunch of different things, like dressing up as a geisha in high school for Halloween one time. Hindsight 2020, that was problematic since I'm not Japanese. But nobody really knew because most of the white people there thought I was Japanese. And I also got my comeuppance because my art teacher said that I looked hot at 16. So, being mixed is strange. Like, white people say the wildest shit when they don't realize that you're Asian because they think you're, I don't know, Latina or like, I don't know, native or something. So when your white classmate goes, oh my god, this person driving in front of us is so bad at driving, I bet they're Asian. And then when you go, oh, I'm Asian, they like laugh and they're like, oh my god, I had no idea, I thought you were Italian or some shit. Another example, when your driving instructor asks if you're Chinese or if your mom's Chinese, and when you say, I don't think so, they go on to make a really racist anti-Chinese joke. I love being mixed. The reason why I go so hard on white people sometimes is that growing up, those were just two stories of, like, white people being racist towards me, but, like, growing up, I've been called every single racial slur in the book. I've been told I can't play with them because they don't like yellow people. I've been told that all these things shouldn't actually hurt my feelings because I'm actually not actually Asian. So, according to some of them, I'm not actually Asian anyways, so I'm not actually being racist because I'm one of you, right? If you think I am being racist for calling out racism, which doesn't make any fucking sense, it's like being like, oh, I hate it when men do this thing like hate crime women. And then the guys are like, that's really sexist that you point out that they're men. Oh, okay. Then I guess yes. That totally does make me racist then. Anyways, let's talk about Matt's article in cultural appropriation. I think a good rule of thumb is don't speak on cultural appropriation if you're not from that culture. For example, I have literally no say on whether or not certain people can't wear their hair in black hairstyles because I'm not black. I will, however, stand behind my black friends who call that out and make a conscious effort not to appropriate those styles. When I was 21, I wanted dreadlocks, and when I told my friend Savvy this, hi Savvy, they made fun of me, so perfectly fine to call out cultural appropriation, but sometimes, if you don't use your brain for 2 seconds, and you're not from that culture that you're calling out cultural appropriation, you might fuck up like this person did.
Hi, post-production Steph here with COVID, and I just wanted to say, I'm super guilty of this shit. When I was going through my SJW, the best ally phase, I would do this frequently, and recently I almost had a knee-jerk reaction to a local tattoo artist who had the G slur in her username, only to find out that she's Romani and she can like use the term. Sometimes we need to stop and use 3 out of 5 brain cells that we have and pause and think, maybe this person is actually from this culture and I should literally shut up. So I just wanted to make a little note here. All right.
Anyways, Matt's article is great and probably resonates with a lot of mixed kids, including myself, even though I'm not a chef. Matt speaks on never feeling enough for either side of his heritage, and one of the ways that he felt connection was making food from his culture. Matt speaks about being white passing, which is something that many of us are sometimes, and the privilege and erasure that comes with being white passing. So yeah, I can talk about this article all day, but I want you to read it instead. And remember to, like, maybe use your brain for 2 seconds before you think that you're doing, like, a gotcha moment. Alright! Oh, what the fuck did I do? Now I'm gonna talk about this one! So Chris sent me this tweet, saying the internet was a mistake, and I agree. So let me do a dramatic rereading. Okay, so this person, Tempo Pokey Aim. The DS download era of multiplayer games was undefeated. If one of the homies had Mario Kart, all of the boys were eating. Why does everyone keep acting like having friends was the default life experience? It fucking wasn't. It still isn't. Stop aching. Acting. Like there was this kind of shit as a default in most kids' lives because it's getting old and it's heavily harmful. In my experience, the only people who had friends in childhood were the same people who found genuine joy in making the designated weird kid miserable. And Grayson says, fellas, is it wrong to create bonds with people of similar interests? So basically I'm like, wow, holy fuck, what is this? Lord. In your experience, the only people who had friends in childhood were the same people that, like, made fun of you in adulthood. That's weird. Like, don't be friends with people that make fun of you in adulthood. It's simple as. Like, I'm still friends with some of the people who I grew up with, and I was fucking weird as a kid. weird as hell. Like, I used to pretend that I was a dog until I was about 14, and my friends would be like, haha, Steph's a little quirky, eh? And then, now look at me, I'm a furry. Just kidding. Am I joking about the furry part? Who knows? Even though I'm still friends with some of the people that I knew in high school, I'm not friends with fucking everybody I met. That's part of growing up, by the way. A lot of loners that I knew in high school also had friends. Like, I would say literally no matter who you are, you could be a super quiet kid, a shy kid, a weird wolf kid, and still have friends with different kinds of people. I had friends from, like, literally every clique in high school. I had friends that were, like, some of the popular people. I had friends with, like, the crusty emo weird kids because I was a crusty emo weird kid. Friends with, like, quiet people. Like, everyone. I would say having friends in childhood and now is normal. That's a thing that happens. It's harder to not have friends than it is to have friends. Why does everybody act like having friends was the default? It is the default. I can tell you why this person doesn't have friends, and we're gonna go over why I'm assuming they don't have friends right now. So I went over to their Twitter to make sure this person wasn't a minor, and I found a lot of really bad takes to the point of, like, where I'm wondering if this is satire or not. Because I genuinely can't tell if they're this fucked up or if they're actually, like, joking. First of all, I'm gonna put a trigger warning right here for mention of SA. It's nothing detailed, just them mentioning it in the bio and me talking about it for a little bit, so skip to here if you don't want to hear that. So in this person's bio, I'm just going to be using they, them pronouns because they don't have them on here. They also mentioned that they're an illegitimate rape baby. Hey, how fucked up do you have to be to say that? To say something like that? I've, like, literally never heard of this in my entire life. Like, for somebody to use your mom's trauma, like, in a Twitter bio? Are you, like, you need to genuinely log off and get off the internet. Genuinely. Like, you have to be chased off the internet. That's, like, there's no other possible way. You have to be chased off of the internet. Like, you shouldn't be on here saying that. Your mom's trauma isn't yours to tell, isn't a cute little thing to put into your bio, like you're saying, like, your pronouns or how old you are, or, like, if you like pizza or something, or if you're a bug lover. It isn't a spot to put your, like, somebody else's trauma in your bio. That's so fucked up. That's so twisted. Like, I've literally never seen this in my life, and I hope to never ever see it again. Yeah, I guess you are on your villain arc because this is so disgusting. Why the fuck would you ever say that? Like, imagine if you had a child for a second. Like, I don't know, you, like, gave birth to a full human being. And, they go on to, first of all, have a fucking Homestuck OC as their profile picture because, of course, like, why wouldn't they? But having a kid and then being violently robbed at gunpoint, and them having in their Twitter, they, them, 25, my mom was violently robbed at gunpoint in your bio. Like, how fucked up do you have to be? I'm sure this person's mother isn't like, hey, guess what? I want you to have the fact that I was R-worded, in order to have, like, you. Like, I'm sure this person's mom doesn't want that on your public Twitter bio. No matter what your mom has done, I don't give a fuck about this person's relationship with their mother. But yeah, like, no wonder you don't have any friends because you have, like, a bio like that, and you probably act exactly like this. Because I found more weird takes. They seem to love inserting themselves into conversation they don't have a part in. I'm not gonna show the meme because, like, that's not part of my conversation. I don't need to talk about this. This person's just like, there was nothing to do with ableism here, why to shove that in? Because, like, the meme had nothing to do with being ableist, like absolutely nothing to do with ableism, and everything to do with people being racist, okay? So that's the context. And then this person is just like, because like racism and ableism is a circle inside a bigger circle. And the bigger circle is ableism. Something people try to genuinely ignore on a good day. So they're saying that ableism is more horrible than racism. It has nothing to do with ableism, and like isms aren't a competition. Let's look at it together. So yes, ableism here is the worst of all isms. It's worse than racism. Okay, so it's not a fucking competition, first of all. This isn't a pissing contest. This is an oppression Olympics. So actually, I'm inserting myself into this conversation to say that actually, if you are calling out racism, then I'm gonna say that by calling out racism, you are actually being an ableist. Yeah, kind of. Hi, my baba.
Hi.
This is my co-producer / husband. There he is. This person, first of all, says that this is like a self-report. It's like, first of all, I'm gonna say that I don't have any friends. Second of all, I'm gonna air out my own mother's trauma on my public Twitter bio. And third of all, I don't like it when black people talk about racism, because I think that they're being ableist. So yeah, that was my second installment of the Chronicles of the Most Chronically Online Takes that I've seen on the internet. It's been 1 month since that video was uploaded, which is pretty cool.
Update time. So I fixed the last video to edit out names and faces, and since posting that last Chronically Online video, me and the Kurdistan that I mentioned in that video have had a conversation about Nick is Not Green and what happened between the two of them. Although I stand by everything I've said in that video, I was allowed to see her and like Nick's conversation outside of what had happened. Which was very interesting and gave me a little bit more context and insight. And it turns out that the Kurdistan has a really good heart and was willing to watch the video that I made and has actually changed her opinion on Nick is Not Green. This really proves that when we have an open conversation about these things, it's important to allow room to change your opinion and recognize that maybe some of the stuff that you said or done wasn't the best move. This person's only 20 years old, and I've also done some chronically online stuff that I wish I didn't do when I was her age. So there's no hard feelings at all between myself or her, and I'm really happy that she reached out. If you think I have a wonky take, or if you think that I've said something that was kind of like, or something, let's talk about it, because chances are I'm not like a scary person. I really love to have these conversations, and it's a learning opportunity for the both of us. If you wanted me to elaborate on something, don't be scared of me. I'm not like a scary person to talk to. She reached out to me and then she was just like, oh, I thought you were gonna be mad at me. For what? Like, I'm not gonna be mad at someone unless they did something particularly egregious and I had like 100% proof that they did something shitty. I am always willing to talk to somebody, especially somebody who like did something quote unquote chronically online and then they were just like, hey, actually, like, can we talk about this and like why I had that specific take? And then I'll be like, yeah, of course, let's talk about it. So that's exactly what happened. That was really nice. That was really cool. And that's a little update. She like unblocked me from everything, which was really nice. And I like her TikToks and stuff because we both are Curtis Connor stans. But yeah, that was just a cute, fun little update. Anyways, back to the outro.
I have a ton more content to talk about in terms of this series. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If I talked about something in this video that rubs you the wrong way, let's have a conversation about it. I'm open to talking about all sorts of things. As long as we keep it pretty civil, I like to have a conversation. Anyways, if you like this video, like it, thumbs up. I really appreciate it whenever you interact with me in the comments. I'm going to be trying to do, I know I've been saying this like 50,000 years. I've been wanting to try to do a Twitch, but like lately I've been very busy. My job is really fun and I love it a lot. So like most of my energy is in that. And then I am going to be starting to do more physical art stuff. So like might or might not have like time to stream, but I am hoping to combine the stuff that I want to do like art wise with streaming on Twitch. So like go ahead and follow me on there. I'll probably be doing rug tufting and art, and then I'd also love to like go through my TikToks and see if we can find anything else that's chronically online. All right, what did I do for the outro last time? I think that's about it. Thanks for sticking around. I'm very excited. I have a lot more videos planned, even though it does take me a little bit of time to make them. Love making videos like this. I'm gonna have a vlog soon. My wedding vlog is next on the roster, so I'm currently actually editing that right now. And yeah, all right. See you on the next time. Bye, everyone.